like content, and I'll continue from here. So basically, these are two measures, Gini and entropy, which are used to quantify what is a uh, information gain if you are adding a new parameter in a decision tree. Say, for example, just to give you a context, high level, uh, if you just initially just had a college degree as your parameter in your decision tree model, what was a Gini measure? So basically, Gini measure is a quantification of how like your decision tree is performing. So, and if I add few more parameters like experiences, how my Gini measure is changing. So that's where like we are discussing, and it's kind of a accuracy. Gini helps you measuring the accuracy of your decision tree. And so yeah, coming back, like as I mentioned that there are two terms that we have to understand. One is base Gini and another one is weighted Gini. And information gain is difference between these. Like you subtract base Gini from weighted Gini. And when I say this weighted Gini, over here just assume this model wherein you have got data points like 16 data points, and this header here is whether the that company or person has an interest rate obligation, and if the sales have changed, like if the interest rate obligation was there and sales increased or decreased. So initially, if I just don't consider these four, if I just have this in my decision tree and I'm predicting the default for that particular firm. So like initially when I'm starting, I don't have these four parameters. I just have this interest rate obligation. I'm measuring for 16 firms. So I'm just taking whether the firm has an interest rate obligation, interest obligation or not. So that initial node in my decision tree will help me measuring the base Gini. How we do it, I'll explain you. And when I increase one more node, that is sales change, that will give me a weighted Gini. And when I take difference between how my Gini changed when I added this parameter, that would give me weighted Gini. And difference between what I have now after adding sales change and what was initial when I had just interest obligation, difference between those will give me information gain. Basically, you are trying to understand if this new dimension that you added in your decision tree, if that is like if there is a much value add or no value, like just you are trying to understand if this is a good dimensions to be added in your decision tree. Are we good so far? Like I will then touch upon the calculation part. Are we good so far? Anyone has any doubt with respect to these three lines I have written? All good?
Yeah, all good from my side.
Okay. Pooja, Vipin, all good? Okay, cool. So let's understand. The first part is bit easier. Base Gini, quantifying base Gini is simpler. Like out of 16 data points, the firms that had interest obligation, or let me count the firms which did not have the interest obligation, because those are like lesser in number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So out of 16 firms, like we have everything, right? Yeah. So out of 16 firms, these 6 firms do not have interest obligation, and remaining firms have the interest obligation. Now we'll apply the same formula that we saw yesterday. The Gini measure is 1 minus summation of pi square. So over here, if it's a interest rate obligation or no interest rate obligation. So how do I find a probability of no interest obligation? Like let me just give subscript no interest obligation as like 6 over 10, 6 over 16. Do you guys agree that these zeros here are 6 out of 16. So probability of no interest obligation on this particular node is 6 over 16. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Okay. And probability of interest obligation would be how much?
10 by
Like,
16.
yes. Now if I were to measure the base Gini, so base Gini, how do we measure?
1 minus 6
Yeah.
by 16 plus 10 by 16.
So 1 minus, it was summation of pi square. So this one is p1 and this one is like, these are the only two probabilities that we have. So 6 over 16 is square, summation of pi square, plus 10 over 16 ps like this square. So we had to add these. Can you help me with a quick calculation? I had asked you, like, if you don't have a calci, please get it. I can wait for a few seconds. And yeah, just get me this number. And please do practice, because if you get something like this, it's like, if you count it properly and you calculate it properly, it can get you a mark. Like in exam like FRM, if you get marks with just doing these steps correctly, then I think it's much easier, I would say. 6 over 16, how much did we get?
0.14063.
Again, 0.1063
063.
plus this one, and this is a square. You did a square, right, Vipin?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And 10 over 16?
0.3906.
Right.
0.3906. Can you guys add and tell me, like, just tell me the direct number, base Gini?
.4688.
Vineet, you're getting 4688. Are we good, Vineet?
Not yet. I'm just calculating actually.
Sure, yeah. Let me call this as 1.
.46, how much? Yeah, 46337 actually I'm getting.
Yeah, like either ways, I think, let me tell this as
Yeah,
a
I
point.
think if we just go
0.46,
by
yeah.
four digits, then it would be. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're good, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a base Gini. Now we have to get weighted Gini. Be very careful with this calculation. Let me tell you with a very simple method, but yeah, be very attentive now. So weighted Gini, so this step, the counting step we will do here, but along with this probability, you have to attach weights. So basically, you have to attach weights to what? To these numbers, the probabilities that you had to attach some weights. How do we calculate weights? I'll tell you, but the first step is quite similar. Like, how did you count here? The total numbers are 16, and the sales change for the firms where sales did not change are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So out of 16, say 7 firms, the sales did not change. So I will write 7 over 16. There has to be some weight. How we calculate this weight, I'll come back to you shortly. And if this is 716, for how many the weight would have sales would have changed? These total numbers are 16. And for these zeros, where you see these zeros, circle zeros, the sales have not changed for these firms. So I have written out of 16 for 7 firms, sales have not changed. So my question now to you is, for how many firms sales have changed?
9.
Yeah, absolutely. So 9 over 16. Now calculating these weights are a bit trickier. So it's like you have to calculate the weight when your firm sales have not changed. So now you just have to focus. First, you have to focus on only on 0. Now assume to calculate this weight, instead of this 16 data points, assume, now be very attentive what I'm saying, assume that instead of 16 you have these 7 data points, like the circle ones. So for circle ones, you will see when there was a no sales change, was there an interest obligation? So for firms, are you following? Like now what I'll count, where there was a no sales change and there was a no interest obligation. So for now case 1, or let me now write calculation, because from book you may not follow this, like this is a simple way. Calculation of W1 here, that I have to substitute to calculate weighted Gini. Then once I have a weighted Gini, so I have to take a difference between these two to get the information gain. So calculation of W1, how will you do? For W1, you will assume instead of 16, you now have a 7 company, or you like from 16 we are just focusing on 7. It's not really there are 7 firms, but the discussion that we are doing are on these 7 firms. So for 7 firms, I will just count when there was a no sales change and there was a no interest rate obligation. So you will just count wherever both are 0. So now my when I calculate this weight 1, or you can say when there was delta sales change is equal to 0, like when there was a no sales change, what is my Gini measure? Like basically this weight 1 is a Gini measure for when there was a no sales change. So this you will calculate 1 minus, again now see what I'm doing, I'm just calculating wherever both are 0. So for this one it is 0, here it is 1, like this one is 0, there was no sales change but there was an interest obligation. So I want to count wherever both were 0. So 1, this is 1, and over here this is not a point that I'm interested in, because here it's 0, it is 1, here it is, yeah, this one, and what else, I think 1, 2, anywhere else, nothing else, right? So out of 7 there were 2 firms wherein your sales did not change and they did not have an interest rate obligation. So over here my this point would be 2 by 7 square. Now can you tell me what would be my next point, because 2 companies are there wherein there was no interest obligation when there was a there was no interest obligation when there was no sales change. So out of 2, so 5 companies would be there, like 2 came here, so 5 companies would be there when there was no sales change but there was an interest obligation. Now you can count these things. Let me just change a color. Now say for example 0, 0 was this. Now I'll count the circle dark one. This is a 0.1 and 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. 1, where did we miss? Yeah, here, this is 1. So blue lines, like basically I'm trying to understand. Are you following, or any doubts so far? So what we will do, we'll just make it 5 over 7 square. This will give me the weight 1. So you will substitute this as a weight 1. Any doubts with this? 2 by 7 plus 5 by 7. Any doubts with this? Please do ask. Otherwise, like it would be a problem. Because I have to do same for weight 2, and that you guys have to help me out. Everyone followed, or are we good? Please do acknowledge, Abid. Otherwise, I'll not understand if you guys follow or not.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, following.
Good. So no concerns, right, to anyone. Okay, fine. Can you help me with calculating quickly? Take out 30 seconds and help me with this number.
0.40816.
8. Yeah.
0.40
816.
816. Now this is a weight one. So let me call this as a W1 and 2, like 1 2. Now we will calculate delta sale when there was a delta sales change is equal to 1. Basically I'm trying to calculate W2. So W2 would be, can now you guys help me out? I know you have to do a counting, but I'm happy to do that for you. So total 7 firms were there when there was a sales change. Now first let's do it very like practically. Now 7 firms were there when there was a no sales change. So 9 firms would be there when there was a sales change. So denominator is fixed 9 for here, square. Now you guys help me with this numerators. For numerator you have to do bit counting. Now the focus should be on cells where sales change is 1. So let's see which one is easier to count when there are both ones. Yeah, I think let's count when there was a both 1 1, like how we counted initially 0 0. Let's count it as a 1 1. Can one of you quickly count a screen wherein both are 1?
5. Like out of 9, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Out of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 5 over 9, what would be here? No need to count. You can directly tell me. How much would be here?
4.
4. Yeah. Now just calculate it quickly. And let me know if anyone faces difficulty in using Calci, or at least this one is a very easier when we would be doing FMP. Over there, like we have to do a lot of calculations.
Point 4939.
0.4939. Now this is something which I have to substitute here. Like are you following? Like this one is W2. Now I will substitute W2 and W1 in my weighted Gini, which would be equal to, for 7 over 16. Be very careful with weights. Like ensure that you're picking this W1 when you had a denominator as 7 and over here its numerator is 7. So for 7 over 16 my weight is 0.40816. For 9 over 16 my weight over here is 0.4939. And now help me with the final weighted Gini. I'll just write WG.
Point 4564.
Can anyone confirm, like if anyone has calculated? Vipin,
Point
or yeah.
0.04564.
And Pooja, what was your
0.564.
0 point?
564.
Vipin, I think you mentioned 4.5 or 5.4.
Point
Like,
0.04564.
and Pooja, what about you? Like, is it 4.5 or 5.4?
4564.
Okay, cool. Perfect. It looks good, quite near. So now this is my weighted Guinea. Now what I'll do, I will just subtract like this. I think over here I just
Base
wrote other way around. It is
weights,
base
right?
Guinea minus weighted
Weighted
Guinea.
minus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this information gain finally that we are interested in is this base Guinea when you had one dimension, that is interest. So it is base Guinea 4688 minus 0.4564. Just I think it would be somewhere, this is somewhere around 0.7, and this is 0.01 would be there, but yeah, let me know exact how much you get. How much we have?
0.0124.
0.0124. So this is my information gain. Questions are usually asked on this.